Everyone, this is Kirk here again at OptionAlpha.com, where we show you how to make smarter trades. And in tonight's video, we're going to go over the two positions that we adjusted today in Coach. So they were our only trades today. Market was actually pretty active. Stocks were down pretty much the entire day, which leads to higher implied volatility. But we definitely need to see stocks fall a little bit more before we start seeing implied volatility really start increasing across the board. And so right now with stocks falling, we're seeing a slight uptick in implied volatility, but it's already so low that it's not really making a marginal difference in our ability to sell more premium. So let's hope for some continued sell-off, at least to spike up volatility here. So we did have an adjustment trade or two adjustment trades to Coach, and it really surrounds the 43 puts that we were assigned. Now, we were assigned these way early in the cycle, so we still have a lot of time between now and June expiration, but since they're probably deep in the money at this point, somebody probably went ahead and assigned them. I know that some people did get assigned. I know a lot of people didn't get assigned, so we're definitely going to go off of the off of our live trades that we had, where I did get assigned the one Coach 43 put that was in the money. So I sent out a video earlier this morning, so I'm just going to kind of recap what we did here. But the first thing that we have to do is just reduce our margin exposure to owning the long shares. Now, since we were assigned the put, we were basically long 100 shares at 43. So we were long stock, and we had to pay for all of that stock at $43 a share times the 100 shares that we were long. So that tied up a lot of capital. So the first thing that we always want to do is just quickly reduce that capital by selling back the shares. Now, a lot of people always get freaked out about being assigned or going through the exercise process. It's very easy. We've got a ton of video tutorials for you here inside the membership area. But basically what you want to do is just go ahead and very simply, early in the morning, as soon as the market opens, just go ahead and reduce that position by selling out of those shares. And we sold them back for $35.60. We knew we'd sell them back at a loss on the actual shares. Now, at the same time, we went back out and we sold the 43 puts in July. So that gave us a credit of $730, which basically helps kind of neutralize the effect of getting the shares assigned at 43 and then having to sell back the stock at $35.60. So even though the actual share transaction was a loss, the fact that we took in an additional credit gave us back all of that money and then some. So the net effect is that even though we got assigned, we really didn't get hammered too much on Coach, and we're still in a pretty good position with Coach going forward. So we've made a bunch of adjustments in Coach. This will be a really good case study going forward, and we'll definitely recap everything once we get through the actual trade. But at this point, we want to see Coach trade still between 35 and 43 anytime between now and July expiration. So quite a wide window and range, and we'd ideally love to see the stock kind of make a little bit of a rally and rebound here. But given the fact that it's moved completely against us since it announced earnings and we've adjusted along the way, we're actually not doing too bad, and we'll probably have somewhere around $190, $180 loss or so, which isn't bad at all. And again, all because we've made a lot of adjustments along the way. It could have been much worse had we done nothing at all. So that's basically what happened with Coach. Nothing else here to report. Take a look at the video that we sent out earlier this morning for the logistics on how we went about entering those orders. I did a quick little video for you guys in the morning because I knew people would have a lot of questions. As always, if you guys have any comments, please add them right here to the membership area. And until next time.
Colon cancer risk in westernized populations may be reduced by decreasing the intakes of animal products, blaming aggressive factors such as animal protein and fat. We've explored how animal protein can putrefy and produce the rotten egg gas, which may be toxic to DNA. But what about the fat? It can stimulate the synthesis and secretion of bile acids into the intestine. That's what bile does, helps the body digest fat. So more fat in the intestines means more bile in the intestines, which wouldn't be a problem, except bile acids have long been suspected as being carcinogenic, especially secondary bile acids. See, bile acids stimulate the growth of bacteria, which convert the primary bile acids our liver makes into secondary bile acids, and secondary bile acids have been shown to be cancer-causing. So this could help explain why fat-rich diets are correlated with colon cancer. High saturated fat intake is associated with elevated levels of bile, which is what you tend to see in people with colon cancer, and so are considered tumor-producing factors in colorectal cancer development, and perhaps breast cancer, as these secondary bile acids can get absorbed into the bloodstream and circulate throughout the body. This may help explain the extraordinarily low rates of colon cancer in sub-Saharan Africa, with native Africans putting out just a fraction of the secondary bile acids compared to African Americans. Well, if a diet high in animal fat stimulates the growth of these toxic and carcinogenic secondary bile salt-producing bacteria, what about people who don't eat animal fat? We've known for about 40 years that those eating plant-based diets have less bile in their stools and a reduced capacity to create colon carcinogens. Those eating vegetarian produce just a fraction of some of the secondary bile acids implicated in cancer, about 70% less. Put people on a plant-based diet, and within just a week, the bacterial enzyme activity to produce these secondary bile acids is cut in half, and within a month, their presence is cut in half as well. One of the most important toxic effects of these bile acids, the BAs and our BMs, is the increased production of free radicals. That's one of the ways they can damage our DNA and undermine our DNA repair pathways. Compared to this diet, if you switch people to a vegetarian diet for just 12 days, you can get a 13-fold drop in hydroxyl free radical production. Hydroxyl radicals are one of the most destructive free radicals, which may increase colon cancer risk. They only last about a billionth of a second, but in that time can convert harmless substances in the bowel to DNA-damaging mutagenic substances, and bile acids are believed to promote this process. So fecal free radicals may activate carcinogens in the colon. On a standard American diet, the amount of free radicals produced in the stool is quite remarkable, corresponding to that which would be produced by a fatal dose of gamma radiation. So what do we do about it? What's an achievable, practical measure to decrease free radical formation in our colon? Well, we could just eat a more plant-based diet, but there's not a lot of money in cauliflower and carrots, so instead, we could attempt to colonize people's colon with genetically engineered antioxidant-producing bacteria.